How's your Monday going, Frank?
Doing pretty good. How about you, brother?
Can't complain, man. Glad you're on the show today. Talk about these Cardinals 0-2. Are you okay? We gonna be all right?
What the hell's wrong with them, Frank?
What's going on, man? We need to
Let's go.
get some help.
Why do they stink, Frank? What's going on here?
You coming out of retirement?
Yeah.
I love the morning mayhem you guys are right. I heard going off on, man.
Well,
relax. It's just the preseason. We're letting our young guys get out there and get some reps and rotation.
But we're doing the
there
same
are
thing,
some good
Frank.
things, my man. The W's are just not adding up.
Frank, we're doing the same thing. It's our preseason, too, to talk about what Mondays are going to be like in the fall. So we're just getting warmed up. We know this team's going to be bad, so we're in preseason form as well.
Wow, touche rock.
Yeah, man.
That was a very good retort, but let's back up, player. You understand that our players aren't playing, so you won't even have this conversation. You're assuming that our team isn't good. That's the point. This is preseason. Guess what? It happens. Teams lose in the preseason, especially when your stars aren't playing. But the idea is that you just haven't seen the players play. So when that transition's over, you might have a better Monday, Rock. And I want you to have more sugar in your coffee when you talk to me next time.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the teams that they're playing also aren't playing their starters. So we know how deep this roster is, right? If some of the stars, unfortunately, get banged up and can't play.
No, you're absolutely right about that, man. It is 2 zone 2s and 3 zone 3s, and unfortunately, we're not watching the best on the best. But there are some good things we get to watch. We're watching guys, our young guys get out there and fight at it and figure it out. Apparently, this is what I do get to know. I notice is that the Cardinals have a good window of time between the next game, our preseason game, and then our first game versus the Buffalo Bills. And I think that they're just kind of resting those guys and giving them that time. This is kind of new to me, watching the way they rest the stars and rest the first team players. We still got rookie receivers that really haven't had much time, but those guys aren't getting a lot of rotation. Our offensive line is still kind of young and new. The continuity is still not there, but at the end of the day, most of those guys aren't playing. So I guess we're playing the long game. As a fan, you get to watch your team go out and play, but you're watching the guys they drafted pretty much in the latter rounds. But some of our young guys that we drafted in the first round on defense and offense are going out and making some plays and showing some light. Look, Trey Benson, you can say what you want to say, but you're watching a young kid that's getting some reps, some much needed reps, because if something happened to JC or he looks like a very good viable 1-2 punch. And on defense, man, when you're watching our kid Thompson, I mean, our defensive line is going at offensive quarterbacks in a tumultuous way, and it looks good. But again, it's not our starters, and again, we're still walking around with two L's on our chest, and that's not a good feeling. No way you look at that.
So, Frank, when you watched the game the other night against the Colts, anything stand out for you that you want to see some progress? I mean, one of the things I looked at, why not pump the ball down the field a little bit, stretch the field, not really many big plays at all, if any, these first couple of weeks. I know that it doesn't concern you, but you'd think that you watch all these other teams around the National Football League in preseason, they're getting the ball down the field on a regular basis.
I agree with you. I thought we talked about that last Monday, and I said I was hoping that we were going to see teams get a little bit more aggressive because they know that we have a good running game. I thought that was going to happen, but when I went back and watched the film, I saw that the cloud coverage that they was playing was trying to take away the deep ball, which was surprising to me. There were a lot of plays that the quarterback had to end up throwing check down routes to the tight end on the underneath stuff. That was, good read by Clayton and the quarterbacks, but the reality was we wanted the deep ball. So I don't know what the coach absolutely saw in practice on a daily basis. They might have saw that we really had speed at that position, and they needed to play more of a cloud coverage, a cover 2 or a cover 3. But at the end of the day, I saw that we were trying to do that, but it just didn't happen. My expectations from what I saw this weekend was pretty much about the same. The running game came out and was still pretty slightly productive. There wasn't a whole bunch of mistakes on the offense or defensive side. The coaches still coached like I was hoping to see 4 quarters of football. But we had some guys flying around at the end of the day. They just came out with more plays than we did.
Frank, you bring up Trey Benson. I like the kid's got a home run gear, but he's strong too. I mean, he found the hole. He drug a couple of tacklers with him on the one big run. Was the 19, 20-yard run that he had. Good size, strong, and got the speed. Kind of an all-encompassing 5-tool running back when you watch him early on.
Oh yeah, no, Trey looks really good. He is everything that we thought he would be. We coming out of FSU, we thought this kid, he showed a lot of flash there and a lot of splash, but our mindset is when you get used to watching James Conner, you kind of realize that James can catch the ball. He has a little bit of speed there with a little wiggle and a waggle in his steps. But not only that, he has those shoulders that he has no problem lowering them versus any defender. Whether you're a coach, you're a water boy, you're a referee, fool around and James Conner will hit you. But Trey looks really good. He really does, and I think he's showing good footwork. He's managing himself as he reads the backside windows on some cuts. I mean, his speed is definitely something to be reckoned with. So the reps he's getting is definitely helpful. When I talk about continuity, that's offense. That also bodes well with the offensive line. Once the offensive line, and again, this is why it's important because he hits the hole a lot faster than James hits the hole. And so when you rotating running backs in and out, Manute, you gotta know that James is back there this time, and I gotta hold my block a little bit longer than I would with Trey because Trey's a lot faster and a little bit more explosive with those young legs. So that's the kind of stuff that we're missing right now. But I guess the coaches, again, they're still letting these guys rest. Like we're in week 15, and it's kind of surprising to me, just like it is to you.
Frank Sanders is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Let me follow up with your continuity comment then, because people are watching the Patrick Mahomes behind the back pass. People are watching Tua Tagovailoa throw passes, and they're watching Josh Allen play in the first game for the Buffalo Bills. But yet you just said continuity is going to be key. But you're not getting continuity because the starters, Frank, have really not been on the field together, even for a series or two. For me, that is somewhat problematic.
We still got one more preseason game. I'm going to hold out for one more preseason game there, Jimmy B.
Okay.
I'm with you guys, man. I think that it's important. The reps are very important. But again, this is a long season, and the coaches must know something that we don't know. And I think, when they're watching their players and how these guys interact and practice, maybe they think these guys are ready to go and they don't have to play it. They don't need that type of reps. They don't need those actual in-game reps. Now that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things for a team. It's not like we went 11-4 last year or 11-5 last year, or 11-7.
Or even 500.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what, Rock? I'm gonna start a fight with you. or either 500 is Rock, as my man would say. You're right. And
I think the consensus is, Frank, I think as fans, we want to see these starters. That's just the way it is. Yeah. And we all know preseasons don't mean anything. Right, but I think because Kyler Murray, this is such a big year for him, and I think people love to see, even in there, for a couple snaps. Some of the best quarterbacks in the business are playing in the preseason, and for some reason Kyler's not. I know you can't afford to get him hurt, but you can't baby him either. So, or coddle him.
No, I like the way. No, you're absolutely right, man. And again, that's why I had to go back and say the coaches must be seeing something that we're not.
You're right.
And that's just a part where it's behind the scenes where they can talk about it and they can discuss it, and they don't even talk about this stuff in the media. And you're right. As a fan, I want to see them play. I want to see what we got. I want to see what it looks like up against a little bit of competition, under the bright lights. But that just to this team and to this staff right now, that's not as important as getting ready for Week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. Not showing much, I guess. Not showing much. I don't know the word I want to say on that because it just doesn't make sense. So, but either way, we still got one more week, my man.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's the Cardinals versus the Broncos. That should be a good head-to-head match between two coaches. I always think like that's what you want to see. Two coaches of great minds going against each other, how well they use their chess pieces, what players they put in the right position over here, this new kickoff rule and how is that going to play a factor. All these things right now just feels like we're getting the gloss version of that because we don't really get to see it in live action. But I'm excited about this team. I will say that openly, and I'm not even lying, Rock. I wish that if I was a player at this day and stage, that I would love to be on this team with this coaching staff here for the Arizona Cardinals because I believe I got another receiver on the other side. I believe we got a quarterback that can sling that thing. We got a running game, and our defensive line has no problem going after the quarterback. So that would be my desire with this team. So that to me, I think this is a good team. I just don't see the reps that they put in yet.
Yeah, it does. It sounds good, though. I mean, it all sounds good. It looks good on paper, but until they get out there, we'll see. Frank, thank you, man. We love you. We love you, Frank. What am I going to do with these 81 balls that I have?
I thought you were going to give it to us.
I think they're in my car. I may have to leave
I promise you, this is the last week. This is the last week you will have possession of my balls. I am planning to get them back.
Excuse me?
Can we say that on radio?
We did. Frank, have a good week.
Man, family show, Frank. Come on, man.
That's Frank Sanders, the one and only. Always nice enough to join us. And I'll just let everybody know we ordered him for Christmas 24 golf balls, some TPC golf balls.
How many years ago?
It's at Christmas. And literally his
Current
number
Christmas?
was 81. And we just haven't found the time to hook up with him.
So you still have his balls?
Yes, I do.
In his hands.
I
He
have
sure
Frank's balls. Hey, there is a major college in our state has decided to change their mascot. Wait till you hear that. It's nuts. It's Rockin' Minucci, Jimmy B.